Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Married at First Sight Australia, Season 10, Episode 18. Now, Chris, where would you like to start today?
Well, one of the couples who looked like they were going to ride off into the sunset, Dave, and be officially married are looking like they are going to hate each other, delete each other on social media, never to be seen again. So that is Dan and Sandy, Dave. Now, we've alluded to a couple of things. I remember you maybe laughed the last episode when you were saying about Dan, go to the gym for 6 hours. Dave, he'd be looking like fucking Arnie, wouldn't it? It doesn't matter whether he's taking any fucking, any vitamins, shall we say. He would have and he has got, he's not out of shape. You can see he trains and that, but he's not training for 6 hours a fucking day. I've gone for, he come back today and went, yeah, I've gone for a run. What? To the other side of Australia? Fuck off. You know what I mean? He's like, what are you fucking solar bud? You fucking doing marathons in your spare time? I was like, this guy is a liar, Dave, and he's got something going on here that's probably going to get revealed. He's either another woman or there's just something going on. He's got another life because from nowhere, and I'm even questioning the suspects giving his phone number stuff out with Harrison. We were all blaming Harrison. I'm thinking, this guy doesn't seem as innocent as what he was putting across, Dave. So what do you think of all that? I thought it was great TV, by the way, anyway, but what do you think of it?
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's flown under the radar a little bit here. Because with the likes of Harrison and Shannon, how do I put this, Chris? You can see that they have the tools to be fuckboys, right? I think Dan thinks he's in the same league. But because he's maybe got a bit more cash, then maybe he is a bit as well, and he's flown under the radar there. Honestly, if you did if you trained for it and you did a medium pace marathon, it'd take you about 4 hours. So has he done a marathon and a half in his 6 hours? He'd be about 6 stone, wouldn't he? Yeah. There'd be nothing to him. Now, to be fair, he does look like he goes to the gym and stuff.
Yeah. But he does.
Not for that length of time, Chris. That is bullshit. He's going for an hour, and then the other 5 are unaccounted for. So
yeah, exactly.
It's just, I don't know if he's been hanging around the donut shop. I mean, again, it's just a fucking nonsense. And it's getting a bit, it's taken a turn because apparently they've slept together now, haven't they? So, I mean, and we know, like, her background, she doesn't, take this thing lightly. And so it seems a bit shit because he seems to be completely checked out. Said he was checked out yesterday. Seemed to be, but then they fuck.
Yeah.
So it's it's not a good look. And completely. He's totally checked out of this. And he's looking for all the excuses in the world for it not to be a thing. I mean, the whole thing about me time, I mean, surely the definition of me time is about me. It's not like a communal thing, so it doesn't actually matter that if you have the same hobbies or not. You know what I mean? You've got to do things. Of course it is. Some things you've got to do the same. But he was constantly talking about me time, and it's like, but yeah, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
No. And you're right, Dave. It's every relationship you've got to have your own thing that you're into, haven't you? You have to have that opposite. But the thing is, when he said something about she's allergic to ocean water, and that triggers me. Why? Are you a fucking dolphin now? Are you going fucking swimming on the Barrier Reef? What if this guy, he's coming out with some utter horseshit here again. There's some fucking proper bullshit going on. Yeah. And then I didn't like the way he spoke to his sister. I thought that was totally disrespectful to Sandy. You don't say stuff, she's an overthinker. No. You're a snidey fucker who is up to something. Maybe he might not be, but he might just be doesn't want to be with her. But 6 hours is just unaccounted for. This is every day. She mentioned it when we were at the commitment ceremony, and she was talking to one of the girls and that. And this is a consistent thing. And he, what I didn't like was after that, he's blaming it on her.
Yeah.
She wasn't saying anything wrong. I know this Taylor, who we'll talk about with King Hugo, won't let him even speak or breathe. But Dan was doing the same. As soon as she was being, look, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We found that with Melissa, didn't we? Like, it was a completely not, none of us were expecting that revelation of Josh. And maybe she is, maybe she isn't, and she's playing up to the cameras. But all we can go off is what we've seen. And it was a reasonable request with reasonable dialogue. And he's like, no, I'm sick. He was basically telling her to shut the fuck up. And it was like, it's so disrespectful. I can't judge what goes on when we're not there. So I'm thinking, what is your game here? He's like, just stop talking. I'm like, but you're talking shit. And you're allowed to, but she isn't. I just thought it was just manipulation and gaslighting. And we've called Harrison out for it, Dave. And I thought this was some of the worst I've seen on this show, this series.
Yeah. And it's like I say, though, people do this across the board, it seems. You know, the more of these reality shows that we watch, they, rather than choose, you know, the words that are just like, look, I'll be honest, just not feeling it at all. You know, it's not necessarily anything wrong with you. It's the feeling that I have. Now, I'm still going to work on it, but, you know, I just want to be honest. This is where I am right now. Rather than saying that, they'll chip away at them, you know, and make all the issues that are internal to them about the other person. And that's what's going on here. And I think this guy thinks he's fucking Brad Pitt or something. Yeah. Honestly, I do think he thinks that. And so she's just got no chance. Like I say, he's checked out. But it was horrible because, you know, they've made this kind of physical commitment, if you like. And then he's even less interested now, you know, and it's a shitty thing. And coming up with all the excuses in the world, like you say, oh, fucking hell, she's allergic to the seawater. Fucking hell. It's not like, you know, she could just stay on the beach while I go and fucking have a paddle, is it? Fuck me, how will that ever work? Fucking bellend. Honestly, and so you can see that she's questioning everything. But I thought that piece in particular that you just mentioned there, Chris, about where he's saying, oh yeah, Sandy, she's an overthinker. You know, there's nothing wrong here, nothing to see here. It's just all in her head. She's going fucking nuts. No, mate, we can all see it as well. She's not.
Yeah, it's you, mate. And you know what he's done really, Dave, as you've just said that, it's just a memory thing. He's what Harrison did to Bronte. I know that we've sort of sussed out that she's a bit of a player and it's all about the clicks and the followers, but they slept together. And as soon as he slept together, Harrison was like, I'm out, see ya. Yeah. And he was just so no wonder these two get on. You know, he's done exactly the same thing. And I just think Paul Sandy, she looks like she's on the edge, doesn't she? She looks really mentally like drained. I don't know. There's just something not right about this guy. Because when they were talking about moving and they live in different states, and then he went, I can't go. And I'm thinking, I couldn't remember. I think, I'm sure he's not got any kids. But then I thought, if he says kids, then there's no reason. You would never leave your children, Dave, like that. So I get that. I'd be like, yeah, no problem. But then I'm thinking, hang on, he's not got kids. Why does he not want to leave this? I mean, there could be other family issues. I'm jumping to conclusions, but I'm thinking, is this the other woman that we've not seen on camera yet? Or is he seeing one of the other brides, Dave, that we haven't seen yet? Is there a gym session a la like what's she called? Carolina, yeah. You know, is there going to be one of them?
I know there are some spoilers out there that talk about where all the couples end up, but I'm deliberately kind of sticking my head in the sand. So, you know, I think if people want to seek it out, I think it's there. But generally, I run and hide whenever that comes up, and I'm like, no, I've just, as much as I can, I want to go along with the each episode and get predictions wrong and all that sort of shit, because you know that's part of the fun for me in watching this shit.
It is. I agree. So, Dave, what I want to talk about very brief, just moving on slightly, is just at the start, very brief, was the Leighton and Melinda conversation about Harrison, about basically saying Oscar winning. And when they shown it again, He looked even fucking more phony, didn't it? It's like she's suffering more than any woman I've ever, in here. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Do you know what all these other women's menstrual cycles are? Do you know how much pain they're in? How do you come to this conclusion? It was just utter fucking and then just making it about himself. Honestly, I was sat cringing, going, "Oh, you are such a fucking faker, mate! Unbelievable."
Yeah, he has come out fighting, saying that the music was inappropriate and stuff, and he really had empathy. He's a very empathetic person. But honestly, Chris, I'm not buying it for a single second at all, because even if there's an ounce of truth in that, he put on the worst performance ever. It just was not believable at all. So yeah, just not buying it. But he's sticking to his guns, isn't he? And Bronte, I mean, to be fair, did seem ill. It's just his whole bloody performance is just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, and look, I'm not questioning whether she was ill or not, Dave, but I could not wear makeup and make myself look rough. You know what I mean, Dave? It's a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she probably was ill, or there's some reason for her not to be there. But she absolutely knew that the cameras were there. When you're fucking ill, putting your perfect makeup on is low down on the priority list, isn't it? But I agree. Yeah. Like when the cameras came in, Bronte's like, "Oh yeah, I have been ill. Perfect makeup."
Hey Dave, I've got a little bit of tea for you as well. A little bit of tea. So I was questioning Rupert one hour, and I said, I've seen him somewhere. He's got to be somewhere. Anyway, I went down a rabbit hole of looking Rupert and Evelyn, and Rupert is the one I was wrong on. I had sort of thought I've seen Evelyn before, but never put the dots together or anything. Anyway, she'd only been in Big Brother UK 2016, Dave, and she was notorious for having a kiss with another lady topless, which got a load of Ofcom complaints. Don't remember that scene, funny enough, Dave.
I'm sure I've been complaining myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible. But I was watching Big Brother then, and then I've gone back on YouTube watching some of the clips. Like, I remember that. But,
you have.
That was not on YouTube, Dave. Not that I came across it. That wasn't the first thing I searched, by the way. Yeah. But no, I remember the character. I remember her from it. But so she's a triad. She's a wannabe. Again, like you said about Adam, how the hell has she got in here if she isn't represented by someone, or they know what they're going to get from her in the show? So that straight away is a red flag, and I don't believe any of it. I know the thing is, I was reading this more on Rupert. His fucking thing was like, oh yeah, this is God's honest truth. He's so outgoing, he'll speak to anyone. Fucking hell, he must have said 3 sentences in the first fucking episode we saw him. Honestly, and they call them intruders. These new couples are called the intruder couples. I've never heard that before.
I saw that. So someone mentioned it on Patreon. I've never heard that before. For me, it's just natural that you're going to have couples that are going to come in later, because at some point someone is going to say, both couples are going to say they're going to leave. Every series that we've watched, that happens. So rather than just dwindle the group down, you've got to have some more coming in later. So yeah, that's a new term I wasn't familiar with as well.
Yeah, it's a strange. I mean, like I say, it's just got me thinking a little bit about Evelyn, like the sincerity of it. But I tell you what, Dave. Right, so before I want to talk about Taylor and Hugo actually. Go on.
Just let me say on Evelyn. So I got called out by Megan, I think it was on Discord. So I was saying, like, blimey, that is an interesting fashion choice to wear it, to have a dress where the material makes it look like you've just got sweaty pits. No, apparently it just was sweaty pits.
Oh, right.
It didn't make sense. It was like, why would you do that? But yeah, either way, bit of a fashion faux pas, I feel. But yeah, apparently I called that one wrong.
Oh, well, fair enough. I didn't even see it, so you spotted it better than me, Dave. But I want to quickly talk about Jessie and Claire and the whole intervention by her dad. Now, I couldn't work out, was like this a play? Obviously, it's something to do with the show, but it was a hell of a play. And when her dad like grabs the hands, and he said he was disappointed in Claire, and he's like to Jessie straight away, "How are you feeling?" But I was like, "What is going on here?" Like, I've never been in that situation myself, where like your other half's, partners, parents like grabbing your hand, like, "Are you okay? Is everything?" It's just like, I thought it was like, is this some sort of intervention, like to keep Jessie on the show? Is this Claire playing a hand? Because I don't believe her. She is sincere now after seeing this and having the fact that she's made him stay. He is playing it. Yeah, twice. He is playing up to the cameras because it's like, well, there's the door, mate. You can go. Obviously there must be some sort of financial benefit to it.
But they're under contract. So I think we've had a few people message in about this, that, basically it's the golden handcuffs kind of thing. So, if they do walk, I'm sure they get slapped with something like a 15 grand fine or something.
Oh, God. Right.
So it's, that's not money that everyone can pay. So, it doesn't matter how much you earn. Fucking hell, 15 grand, or Jesus, I'll just stick it out for another week. Let's say, that must be it. But that's why it's not as easy for them to walk out.
That makes sense then. Perfect sense, actually. I'll take that back. I'll take it back. But either way, Dave, what did you think of that intervention thing?
Yeah, just like you say, I can't really take Claire seriously, because leading up to that first commitment ceremony, I'm thinking, you've got to say leave. I was kind of believing it. I was sort of drinking the Kool-Aid a bit, thinking, Jesse, he is funny, but he is a bit of a dick as well. He's kind of being entertaining, but, let's face it, this relationship isn't going to work. Claire had zero reason to say stay, but said stay. And I was like, right, okay, you're now on my radar, because there's no reason for you to stay with this bloke. That was the first time. But then this latest commitment ceremony, she's got even less of a reason, and even we've seen them change their decision, right at the end, and seeing how Jesse was basically out on his feet. And I think it was even Melinda, and she was talking and saying, it seems a bit seems a bit off. Jesse's out on his feet, and she's making him stay. So yeah, I can't really buy anything. I do feel like Jesse's he is authentic, so the highs and the lows. Unless he's just a much better caliber of actor. You compare some of his facial expressions, especially when he's upset, to, Harrison playing that he's upset. You know what I mean? It's like, you can tell when someone's acting it. And I just don't see it necessarily with Jesse. I'm sure he's playing up to the cameras, without a doubt. Everyone does. Everyone will do. But it's not the same level. But yeah, I'm afraid with Claire, I just don't buy it.
No, I'm with you, because I thought there was a point there when her dad was talking. She was actually laughing. The camera was over her shoulder, and the next minute they panned to the front of her face, and she was serious, like, oh my God. But it looked like she was pissing herself laughing. So I don't know. I'm with you. I'm not buying her bullshit at all. But Dave, one of the most interesting couples and interesting people on the show is this Taylor. I can't work out whether she's taking the piss, whether she's been told by the producers to ham up this character of her being dead controlling everything. Because fucking Hugo says, she's like, I don't want your clothes in here. They can go up there on a shelf where we need a fucking step ladder. I'm like, is this for real, this, or what? What is going on here? What is the situation with this girl? She's absolutely she does not compromise. She's always correct. It's really strange, but I must admit, he got his own back, because when they played the card game of who's the fittest and all that, and she had like Cam as number
most
one.
Attractive, not the fittest.
No, yeah, well, most attractive Cam. Now there's been in the letter the fucking letter again, fucking hell, Chris. The email we've got today, Megan says about that, saying like Cam is into Taylor, and that's why I think he's gone off Lindell. Now I've not seen any of this at all, so whether that is one we need to take a notice of. But she picked Cam. then Harrison, because he's a tradie, then Duncan, which is, you got to have Duncan in your top three, Dave. He's in my top three of all the cast members there because he's a good-looking guy, so I get it. But then she's like, Jesse, serial killer vibes. But Hugo's not there, but she puts him at the top. And I'm like, hey, you've not had a good word. And when they say you're attracted to him, eventually she went, well, yeah, he's... did she say... I thought she said he's high. I couldn't work out what she said, whether it was...
I couldn't make it out.
No, I couldn't work it out. And she said... Anyway, she went with that. But then when he did his pick and he put her second last, and next minute she's in fucking... on the settee with a quilt on, fucking feeling ill. I've got toothache. I was like, oh, you don't like it when you get it back, do you, girl? So interesting that day. I thought it was a great interaction. And it's just like, you are so childish.
I don't know if it is a setup. I mean, Chris, there are basically two options here. Either someone has said to her, right, you are going in there and you're going to play the role of being a fucking nightmare, right? Just everything about you. Be a fucking nightmare. Be as awkward and fucking unsavory as you like, because you can't be too much of a distasteful person. It's either that or she is all those things. You know what I mean? Because she's just fucking horrible, isn't she? I mean, I just cannot see that she's ever been told no. I mean, there is being kind of headstrong and willful. I don't think those are negative things, but she's just downright fucking selfish. I mean, she's just... I don't know. Would she be different if she was paired up with a tradie, Chris?
Yeah.
Bit of a bogan. So someone who's more of a traditional type, like maybe a Aussie rules football player or something. But she just does not respect him. And, the whole thing with the clothes, I mean, the poor guy's fucking practically sleeping on the windowsill like a fucking cat. And then, but she doesn't like cats, so it'd be a dog, I guess. But then, you don't need all this room. It's just, I couldn't believe it, but it was funny. But then I think, because he put her second to last, Chris, he should have just fucking put her last, to be honest. And then, like you say, she's on the fucking sofa, like sulking, and almost like she got fucking COVID or something. It's designed to make him feel bad. That's what that little performance is all about. And it's the long game. It's if that kind of exercise comes up again, he'll think twice about it. Chris, this is just... she is a caricature of a fucking nightmare, to be honest. and anyone, honestly, should just run for the hills. And it's a nurse, bull fucking shit, right? Absolute bullshit. I don't care if she's qualified. She will not last in that fucking industry at all. What are you going to do? Doctor comes up and tells you, can you change the wound, the dressing on this wound, please? No, that doesn't really work for me.
That's what I mean. You can't be. You can't have a job where you've got to have so much compassion, patience, and tolerance towards people, and then be the complete opposite in real life. That doesn't work, Dave. You cannot play that act in a career that would last you 35, 40 years. She's only early 20s, isn't she? So it's like, I'm not buying it myself. I'm just siding on the fact that I think she's a setup. I just think that the whole... It's like we're watching some sort of really shit comedy sketch when she's on there with Hugo. And Hugo's like not in on the... He's in on the joke, is he? He's just like, what the fuck's going on here?
She's almost like... the Little Britain, where you have the one guy who's in the wheelchair.
Andy.
And then the other guy who's wheeling him around turns his back or whatever, and he's doing backflips or whatever.
You play basketball, remember that one, yeah?
It's like that. I didn't think of that until you just said it. It's like a comedy sketch. But yeah, Chris, I think we need some help as well. Unless you know the answer, but I suspect not, right? What is going on with Taylor's makeup, right? Because we watch all these different reality shows, right? And Love Island especially, they seem to like take about 6 hours to get ready, but the makeup looks fucking amazing, right? And they look like different people by the time they've finished it. So I don't recognize I don't have a clue what do they actually do, but take a lot of care, a lot of patience with it. With Taylor, there is something wrong going on there, and I don't know what it is. I just recognize it as something wrong, something off. Do you know what I think? It's just looks a bit odd.
Yeah, and that's not, fuck your body. There's something, just everything's off. Everything's just off with the girl, aren't they? And I don't know why. Like, has she gone through life, never been, and we've come across characters like this loads of times with reality TV, but she's never been told no? Is it some sort of defense mechanism that we'll find out later on down the line? Because it's whatever happens here, she's so unpopular, I would have thought, with the public, Dave. I don't see any positives around her. No, because like you said, you could be headstrong, you can be clear, channeled, have a direction where you want to go, not accept fucking second best. There is nothing wrong with that. And in some respects, you only realise that as you get older, unfortunately. You put up with a lot of shit, we all do, when you're in your teens, your 20s or whatever. And then you realise as you get older, you're like, God, why the hell? But it's experience. It comes with experience to say, no, I've got a voice. I'm going to use it. She seems to just have everything at such a young age, but just completely says it all the wrong way. It's like I think Hugo's at the point of snapping. Like he's put her in a place a little bit. Now this could be a catalyst for her where she's like, hang on, what's going on here? I don't get rejected. And it might be sort of thing where she wants him more then, because he's got a bit of a backbone. I can hardly fucking see it, Dave, but I'm trying to rationale what we might see on the show. But that's my way of thinking. It might actually make her actually attracted to him.
Maybe. I still think her storyline is with someone else. And, we'd said even from their first, your money's on Harrison.
Yeah.
I'm going with Cam. Just because when she said that about, a tradie or whatever, Cam had this big shit-eating grin on his face. And so, the producers and editors, they don't do this by accident. They've shown us that for a reason. Now, I could still get behind your prediction of Harrison because, again, when they were on the sofa, they did zoom in. We talked about it a couple of days ago. Or was it yesterday? Days all blend into one. Zoomed into Harrison. Yeah, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? So, I'm not ruling that one out either. But yeah, I think I'm just swaying towards something that's going to happen with Cam, I think. Although, to be fair, I mean, what the fuck happened to Cam? Now he's doing a Harrison, isn't he? He's just done a 180 and he's the most affectionate bloke in the world.
Bizarre, Dave. Bizarre. But maybe the covering up, Dave. And we'll know on the retreat. The retreat's going to bring it all out. Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Whoever the players are in the background, they're going to, and I can't wait. I'll be honest with you. I cannot wait, Dave.
Absolutely.
So good, mate. Right, mate. So we've got an email. It's from Megan again, and it's a long one, but it's a really good one. So Megan says, Adam sucks. I was 100% willing to believe they were a fake couple, and even if that provided some rationale for the kiss, or at least made it less bad or hurtful before hearing that Janelle and him had sex afterwards, I agree with Sandy that Adam and Claire both did the wrong thing, but they weren't in the same position in terms of their fault. Alyssa has come unhinged and he's being triggered by what herself? Okay. Take a seat, Alyssa. Her antics are ridiculous. Even if she was being triggered by being cheated on herself, it would be too much. But she's triggered by the fact that she was involved with a cheating married man. Way to look a gift horse, a.k.a. Sexy Angel Duncan, in the mouth. Ollie and Tani. Ollie can live in the corner of my TV screen reacting to what I'm watching at all times. I'll pay a monthly subscription for him to that service. Cam and Lyndall. She's not Melissa demanding he gets his dick out. She's just asking for a hug, not a bukkake party. Something I've still not Googled out of fear, but think this is the right context. No comment. Like Cam, I would find the mom situation uncomfortable, but it should not have gotten to the point that the mom would feel she needed to beg him to hug Lyndall. There's more going on here, meaning his head has been turned by Taylor and her radioactive makeup, clearly, and that's why he doesn't want to touch Lyndall. Like Taylor will never stick her nose in anyone else's business. So it makes sense these two would be more compatible. Harrison, well, hallelujah, in Josh's voice. That's us menstruating women have an empathetic king ready to work through the pain of our periods. Praise be Lord Harrison. I'm just glad he's getting through it and dealing with his pain, frankly. Taylor, Hugo, Rupert and Evelyn. Rupert has low IQ, limp dick energy, and Evelyn just is doing whatever she can to get through this, looking good and gaining followers. Objectively, Rupert be more attractive than Hugo, but his complete lack of swagger makes him inferior, intruder. Still don't understand what concept of intruders is supposed to be. Hugo was more appealing before he picked Stay, but I still rank him over Rupert. Taylor is not even worth addressing. Sandy and Dan, 100% going down in flames, guaranteed, but I'm glad Sandy was given a counterpoint when the Harpies were attacking Claire for infidelity. It's bad on Claire's part, of course, but I think you need to consider some context, which they are not. Even leaving Jesse's actions towards Claire in the beginning aside, Claire have fully owned up and apologised that there had been nothing else she could really do about it at this time is a fair position. To be fair, neither Melinda nor Alyssa were involved in the relationship at issue, so why did they, mostly Alyssa, seem more upset than Janelle? Jesse and Claire, I hope that him saying leave and her saying stay was pre-planned to let them save face. Otherwise, she's shit for making him stay, and so are the experts. After they let two people out the last time around, Claire wasn't emotionally abusive in the same way as Melissa and Shannon, and I don't think she was culpable in the same way they were. But if it's about the victim in the situation, then being cheated on when you're in Jesse's mental state to begin with is at least within the same ballpark of damage being done. So amazing email that, Megan. Thank you so much. As always, and great email from me. If you want to talk to us about Maths Guys, email us cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you're on us on social media, @cdrealitycast. As always, get up to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. Come and join the fun over there, and we're going to get up to 1,000 followers. And thanks for the feedback as well. People have been saying that they are quite happy with me going solo if you are not around, David. So thank you so much for that, guys. I do appreciate it. If you go to patreon.com/CD Realitycast if you do want to support us. And here's today's Patreon roll call of honour. So Helen, Alex, Macy, Nicholas, Schmave, Emma, Fiona, Cassie, Megan, Kate, Maggie, Kristen, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Brianna, Chloe, Nori, Joanna, Libby, Katie, Dee Dee, Priscilla, Susan, Hennessy, Tracy, Lauren, Lucky Lulu Green, and Keg Gustavs. So thank you so much, guys. Amazing stuff. We are halfway through the week on maths, and we're just beginning in Love Island. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you next time.